Okay, and welcome back, everyone, to Strange Planet Podcast. And it seems like no matter how far Dementia Don decides to run, the Epstein files always catches up. So we have that situation, and it's coming back full circle. More files have been released, of course, redacted. And before I get into any more details about it, I just want to bring one more point up, and that's just the obviousness of the whole thing. If Donald Trump was actually innocent and didn't do any of the things, wouldn't you think you would just release the Epstein files to its entirety, unredacted? You know what I mean? So there's just such a level of like guilt, I feel like, that is attached to
Well,
this already without even knowing, you know what I mean? And then you
But
read
Russ
what
got it
we've
loaded.
read so far, and you know what I mean? Like, come on now, this is getting ridiculous. Like,
all right.
what
Come
do
on,
you
Russ.
guys think about this?
So first of all, they can't release all of them unredacted. There are obviously victims' names to protect an identity, their identities.
Right.
There's stuff like, home addresses or things like that that shouldn't
Okay.
be. Some things need to be
Right.
redacted.
Like those things probably
Now,
should be. But
now, now there are other things that, and actually, they kind of messed up and released some of the victims' identities,
Hmm.
but hid other things that probably shouldn't have been hidden.
right.
Like there was one uh email or file that said like it was something like really creepy, like um I something about your littlest girl
Oh yes,
being
your littlest
naughty or
girl was
something.
was a little naughty,
Right, was a
Wow.
little
but it said
right.
yes.
Now we don't know who that email's from. Okay, they redacted who it was from, and they,
That's who it was too.
redacted. Well, no, it was to Epstein.
Oh, okay.
And so someone, like, that's not a victim. Why
Right.
why is the name redacted? Like they're at the signature line, something was redacted. Like, who was that? Why are they
Exactly.
being protected? Um, did it say DJT, for instance?
No, no, it was a
Probably.
little drawing of a woman's pubic hair.
Yeah, right.
No,
Like his love
no.
letter.
And it's just like, the selective redactions, like this is why Trump had, I think it was like what, 1,000 like FBI agents go and comb over the files and redact his name from them, allegedly. I mean, we don't know for sure, but there are, reports that that's what happened. Now, um, we don't this we know all of the files have not been released.
Right.
Yeah,
That's another thing.
Um, there are probably multiple, um, you know, instances of correspondence directly from Donald Trump, not just talking about Trump, but from Donald Trump to Epstein,
Hmm.
because they were friends for years.
yeah.
Apparently he doesn't know him though,
Um,
remember?
right.
No,
Now the funny thing about this is that Elon Musk, he was mentioned a bunch of times in the files, and
Yep.
he was like, "Oh yeah, I've never." Even before this, he was like, "Oh yeah, I've never been to Epstein's Island," and after he said, "I've never been to Epstein's Island." Well, we have an email with Musk, begging Epstein to go to his island.
Yeah,
And
literally.
Epstein was like kind of like blowing him off, like, yeah, we're not gonna be doing that, anymore. And he's like, you know, so if in fact Musk did not go to his island at all, it's probably only because Epstein thought he was a fucking loser
Yeah, you didn't want him
and
there,
didn't want to,
clearly.
yeah. Um, so Musk, he tries to act innocent or whatever. But I don't think it's there. He asked Epstein
Literally.
to go to his island.
I forgot about that, but you're
Okay.
right. That's a thing. Yep.
Um,
Wow.
Now, the funny thing of another funny thing that I mean, it's not funny, it's sad, but also kind of just ironic. Um, so um, are you guys familiar with 4chan? It's like this, I don't know, kind of like Reddit, I guess, but
It was almost
Oh,
like
like
okay.
it was almost like Vine a little bit, right?
not like Vine. It's like for like it's more like Reddit where it's just
Okay.
like forums and stuff. And th- this was where the QAnon conspiracy originated, which in part has to do with secret demonic pedophile ring.
Oh, with the pizza
Um,
place.
right, with the pizza place
Yeah.
and all these Democrats supposedly behind this. The the guy who runs or he was the founder of um 4chan. Yeah, he was in the Epstein files.
Wow.
So like you can't make this shit up.
Right?
Like so like yeah, you're promoting the QAnon conspiracy, but you know, it's you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um and Brett Ratner
Yeah.
who
Yep. Yep. Did the
was
Melania
already
movie that bombed?
right, he
Oh
directed the
God.
Melania movie. He was already in trouble for some kind of like sexual assault or something like that. He was already, you know, part of the Me Too backlash, and that's why he hasn't been putting out movies or whatever.
Makes
Now,
sense.
I love Rush Hour, but shame on him. But
Yeah, for
he's
real.
also in the Epstein files. There are pictures of him with Epstein and girls
Yep.
whose faces are, blacked out. Now, I mean, he claims to have never, he doesn't have a relationship with Epstein. He doesn't know him or whatever. Why the fuck you sitting on a couch with him in a picture?
Right? Like the
Like, it's
bullshit
not like you're
is
standing at an event. This was like,
you're
at somebody's
there. Like,
house or something. Like,
yeah.
you think a director would know how pictures work,
Right?
like,
Yeah, for real. It's
and then,
unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, there's just so many instances of, and look, like, is it just a coincidence that he's the director of the Melania movie?
Right. That's why I was
No,
making a joke
because
before.
his whole circle are like these scumbags who would be involved in shit like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Elon Musk, why is he begging to go to Epstein Island? And he was like Trump's like, fucking best friend
Yeah,
for
his little
like
BFF
a
there
few
for a while
months. Yeah.
till the bromance broke up. But
Yeah.
Right.
Reminiscing about the days. Oh, well, you've never been to the island, have you? I've been to the island many times. I mean, I've never been to the island. Oh yeah.
the funny thing you brought up with the whole bullshit, like the pedophile ring or whatever, or the whole, you know what I mean, the that whole situation with the QAnon thing. I just find that interesting because, like, you notice it's kind of quiet now, but it's
Yeah.
quiet now because the Republicans are the ones that are more guilty of that than the Democrats were.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, Jim
well,
Jordan, Donald Trump,
whoa. Don't say more guilty. The QAnon thing with the pizza place was absolute dog shit. Like,
bullshit.
there's
Yeah,
no
entirely.
evidence of it.
There's no proof.
Um,
Right.
Case in point, when Trump got in office, there were no prosecutions of any pizza parlor,
That-
pedophiles.
Why would the Clintons
Like
have
you
a
would,
pizza parlor too? Like,
yeah,
I you never
does
I
that
know.
make
don't get
any
it.
sense? Like,
Like, but Republicans or MAGA people will believe anything that tarnishes the Democrats or makes the Democrats
right.
look bad, they'll just believe it.
Yeah, that's
Or
the thing.
they'll say they believe it.
But then you
Okay.
take a look at the
They're either really gullible and dumb, which some of them are,
oh
or
yeah.
they are, professional trolls, which, some of them
Eh,
also are.
true that too.
And so, that's just something that they'll just repeat ad nauseum. And I think that, now they're just shutting up about it because, mirror is being held up to them and
Exactly.
like, why are you in these files? Like, you want to talk about, pedophile rings and yeah, like why are you in these files?
100%.
Um, Now, there was the email with like Bill Gates and him asking Epstein for I think it was like penicillin for an STD that he contracted from
Yep.
some Russian sex worker or something.
Something like that.
What?
And so like it's just like, where does this stop?
Yeah, I don't think it
Um
does. Yeah, that's the thing.
Here's something I'd like to interject, and it's a little more conspiracy theory than fact, but I don't know. It kind of tracks with everything, which makes me wonder if it's actually true or not. I read something today about Epstein was a honey trap for Putin, where they would record these high officials in America, regardless of where they were, government, judicial, executive, and they would have that. He'd have that information to give to Putin, and that's who was putting the thumb down on like Trump because he had Trump all good and ready before he was even in the presidential talk. So he probably forced him like, "Hey, go run for president. I'll make sure you win, and then give me everything." I mean,
That's a
I
it's
mean,
possibility,
stretch.
man.
It's a stretch, but I mean, look,
no, and there were also like emails with Epstein talking about Russian officials and Putin and offering his services and advice on how to deal with Trump, how to get what you want out of Trump.
Right, right. I do remember
And
that.
that
I got
is
some juicy tidbits
Basically, how to play him like an
yesterday.
instrument.
Yeah, because he had dirt on him. All the little kids he's been doing for the last God knows how many decades.
no, but he said like, Trump has to be seen to get something. He's a simple man. Like all you have to do is make him think that he's gotten something, and you basically have
And
Trump.
you win. Yeah, you won him.
And that is a fairly accurate assessment. How, when he met Putin in Alaska, and oh yes, Putin made him think that he was going to get a ceasefire in Ukraine.
Mm.
That didn't happen.
Nope, that didn't happen. Nope.
That never happened. They're
Nope.
they're they're still very much at war.
Yeah, they're still bombing too. Yep.
Yeah, he's actually their leaders come by a couple of times to ask for like help here and there.
No, I know. Yeah, yeah,
Zelensky.
yeah. I mean, I know that Trump wants his peace prize, but don't you have to
Yeah,
have peace first?
Yeah, he's
yes.
suing for it. How do you get that from suing? What
Oh, right.
I
Yeah,
don't.
he's
idiot
suing.
Yeah.
are
He's
you?
suing Trevor Noah for his joke at the Grammys. Trevor Noah at the Grammys said, um, you know, the Song of the Year award, that's a Grammy that every artist wants almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense because Epstein Island is gone. He needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. Like
All right, yeah,
it's
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 Yeah.
funny.
it's clearly a joke.
Clinton's running it too, so it's just like, yeah, there you go. It's everybody.
Yeah, you don't see Clinton suing.
Yeah.
Like,
No, like
he's a little bitch.
he
That's what it is.
yeah, he sues and he's already suing the IRS for $10 billion, as if the IRS doesn't already take enough money from the American taxpayers. Now we're gonna have to pay for Trump's you know
Lawsuit here or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
like why are we paying Trump? Like, and he's in charge of the government and he's also suing the government. So like
None of this makes any sense, like
he's
at
suing it,
all.
he's suing an agency that he's in charge of.
Right. So I guess he's
That sounds
failing.
Okay,
fair.
Who knew, right?
I have a question for
No,
you.
no, it's not that he's failing because that was done before he became president, I guess. But honestly, like why like that's such a conflict of interest in
Here's
terms of, you're running an agency and you're also suing the agency for a lot of money. They have, you know, who's gonna like, take up, who's gonna like defend the agency against, basically the agency's
themselves.
boss.
Right.
Um,
I have a question, and it's a money question. If you attain capital illegally, but it's still yours when you're convicted, do you as the government or power of authority have the ability to take said funds back, or does that stay with whoever it is? Granted, I mean, offshore accounts not including, because that's definitely like once it's offshore, you're fucked.
hold on. Ask that question again.
All right, let's say I'm a grifter, right? I'm working
Okay.
for whoever. I embezzle a shit ton of money, and I have it in my account here. Because I know if you have money in offshores, it's kind of like you can't touch that. Everyone's fucked. But do you, as the authority figure, whether government, police, whatever, have the ability to take the funds back from me, or is it once it's in my account,
Disgorge
mine, and you pay for
Disgorgement
shit?
of funds is a common remedy, but it depends on, sort of the legal theory,
Yeah. Okay.
what, you know, you're not being very
My
specific
thing
in terms
is
of what,
my thing is
how the
as
person
acting
actually got the
president.
money. And okay.
This is my specifics, and this is where I'm trying to see if the loophole works. As acting president, if I sue technically myself, the IRS, and I win said money, and then it turns out all that was done illegally, can the government take that money back from Trump, or is Trump like, haha, it's in my account, f you?
So yes, the court, yes, there is a legal process to, have those funds repaid if there was some, gross miscarriage of justice and he had, everything to do with it. And so, but, if a judgment is awarded to him, then, he'll basically take the money and who knows what he'll do with the money. Now, yes, if, there's something that's found to be, um, unlawful in the way that he went about getting it, which is unclear because, if he files a lawsuit and they settle, then I mean, unless it's shown that he like exerted, force, which, he's president and everyone knows that Trump, will threatens people and makes good on those threats. So just the fact that he sues, will deter people from pushing back. He fires people that, just do their jobs,
Yeah,
but
but that's
if
an
they're not in alignment with
overreach of
Trump.
authority as a
So
boss,
so
as a
I mean,
technically
no, I
that's
mean, technically he's allowed to file a lawsuit. I
no.
mean,
You can file a lawsuit, but when you also have the
he's the president, but he's also a citizen. But
well, you
you
can't be
know,
both. You can't be both. I'm
no,
sorry.
he's a citizen of the country. He can, file a lawsuit.
File a
Sure.
lawsuit with the government that he's running, so he can put the thumb on the boss of the people he's suing to cave in,
Yeah.
to
But
settle, to
like
get free money.
the thing is that, presidents don't fucking do that. They
I was
don't
just going to
sue.
say that. This is the
They
Yeah,
don't
but
president of the
our
sue the
United
government
States
for
we're talking
he
here.
seems to
10
be able
billion
to get away with it.
dollars.
So it's like it's kind of frustrating to see somebody in a position of power who's a corrupt piece of shit who does
Right.
things like this, and you
I
say to
mean,
yourself, no one in their right mind would do it because no one would get away with it, but he had the
Right.
power to get away with
it,
it. And
it
But I
it's
guess, yeah, he
it's
can,
one
right? Like,
it's yeah, it's one thing that he shakes down like corporations using government power, which is
it's not their own
also
government.
it's very wrong. But now he's gonna shake down. This is taxpayers' money directly.
Oh,
Okay,
it's not like he hasn't stolen that before. He's looking at Social
yeah,
Security like,
right. Yeah, this ain't a first for that. That's for sure.
no, but this is like taxpayer money. We're gonna just give him more money, like personally. He's already taken a lot of money, using the presidency from corporations, from his crypto donors, and you know,
newspapers and
yeah.
uh, all these
So is the
corporations, and
media, yeah,
even
various
selling
media
presidential
companies.
seal on a cup, which is technically not something you're supposed to do. I don't know.
But but now he's turning his sights on the government itself. and is just gonna say, "Give me $10 billion for for what?" Because someone allegedly leaked his tax returns. Is he saying that, his tax returns were those were accurate, that he didn't pay taxes? Because he
Right.
told us he did pay taxes.
Interesting.
Well, just remember, anytime he accuses somebody of something, there's like almost 100% chance that he did what he's accusing someone else of.
Oh,
You know what I
almost
mean? So
100%.
just remember that,
He
because
he
that's a
he
thing.
he reflects what happens to him onto other people, which is so
Yeah.
funny. All right, so one more question, and I think I'll be done with the illegal stuff. So let's say, can I sue the government, specifically the Republican Party, after the fact of this whole
Oh,
situation
stop
because
right
they
there.
backed
Stop
him?
right there. Stop right there. The Republican Party is not the government.
Okay, but can I sue the Republican Party? Period.
Hmm.
You would have to have standing for sue them for what?
For what? Okay, let's say we skip ahead maybe 3, 4 years, and Trump is no longer president,
Let's
and in
hope.
fact he's underway of vast lawsuits that have been pending for quite some time because he was president. He is convicted of doing things against the American public. As one of the American public, can I sue the Republican Party for backing him the whole time, knowing what he was doing was illegal, wrong, and against the Constitution?
That's a good
No,
question, but probably not, right?
no. First of all, you would have trouble maintaining that lawsuit in court because of a requirement called standing, which, you have to have a personal injury and something that would, sort of affect someone nebulously, probably wouldn't be considered a personal injury understanding. It's not personal enough to you.
I mean, when I'm overpaying for stuff because the leader that they allowed to be elected, who shouldn't have been elected in the first place,
Right, but
based on everything going on.
that's too
But
attenuated to be considered.
I mean,
Uh,
the facts are the facts, though.
But
They
that is
they, they
true.
turned a
Yeah.
blind eye to the fact that he shouldn't have been involved in the second of his presidency because he was part of uh, what is it when they fucking try to take over the country? September 11th, September, not September,
The January 6th, you're thinking
January 6th,
insurrection.
the
Yeah, the
insurrection.
insurrection is what you're thinking of.
But he was involved in insurrection, and he was, even though technically he wasn't uh, convicted of that yet because he got ahead of that before it happened. I'm just saying, like, he's been doing a lot of bullshit that he's been getting away with because he's been ahead
Yeah,
of it
for real.
legally because he's been squashing all these lawsuits and here and there. But eventually, he's no longer going to be there, and what has all that stuff comes to light, it's going to show. Hopefully, because we don't know specifically, but if it does, and it's high probability that it is, he has caused harm to most of the country based on the tariffs that he put in there illegally,
ICE.
driving up costs for everything. I mean, the whole did stop the whole.
right, but you're gonna have trouble not only with standing, but also finding a cause of action. Like, what cause of action, what law can you sue under that would allow you to recover money on the basis of decisions that a president makes?
What is the job of the president? To be a person of the people, for the people, and by the people. Correct. And though he
That's
was
not what it
technically
says under the
elected,
Constitution.
what's
But
the job of the president?
no, well, look at something like this. The Constitution guarantees a Republican form of government, not Republican Party, but it guarantees that we will be a constitutional republic. However, the court won't even enforce that provision. It says basically it's up to the people to enforce that position. That provision. Um,
How? We don't run the courts
no, no. I mean, it's up to the people to do it with their vote and with their
with their
voice.
vote. When you're
Um,
strangling the vote, you're gerrymandering the states. You're probably having somebody cheat in the background that we don't
Misleading
know nothing
everyone.
about. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
granted, it is a tall hill to climb, but at some point, we as a society might have a standing on this. As a class action lawsuit, it's just like, hey, we as American
yeah,
people got fucked
but
over because
but
he
to
allowed
say
all this stuff to happen.
right, but to say like, all right, so say like he was like grossly negligent in terms of
Well,
allow hold on,
Yeah, go
Top
on.
predator
allowing
list, fucking under
hold
his belt,
on,
sitting there,
hold
have an entire
on. Say
page.
say say that he was like grossly negligent in terms of allowing a terrorist attack to occur. Like say he like I don't know,
He
said,
allowed
"Oh,
a terrorist attack to happen under
there's
his
some
watch.
people there's some people with like bombs. They they d- they're going to a democratic city. Let's just let them go there." Okay.
But
So
midterm
so
elections are yet to come, and
hold
ICE
on,
is still roaming around
hold
the
on, hold on, hold on. So let's just say that, you know, Trump says, okay, let's just let them in the city, let them do what they want to do, and that's like caught on tape, it's recorded, everything. All right. So the victims of that attack could have cause of action potentially to sue and they will have standing because they will actually have suffered an injury that would be considered personal enough to them.
That makes
Um,
sense, I guess, because the negligence of him not taking action, and then
well, it's
God
not just
forbid the bomb
it's
goes
not
off, say.
it's no, well, the negligence is, you know, part of the cause of action, but like or gross negligence. But let's just say like, the standing part, the injury would be that, it affected, these specific like victims because of that negligence. That would permit probably standing. You would have an argument that would probably grant standing. Now, there may be other barriers to suit, but at least standing would be probably be found in that regard because you actually can articulate that you've suffered an injury that's due to that action or inaction that the president took. Whereas, oh, like my grocery prices are high,
That's not enough. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
there's so many
All
different
right.
factors that can,
From
cause
what
that. Plus, it's not particular enough to you as a person who can sue that just say like, oh well, like everyone suffered and like you
I
can't
don't
just say
care.
like,
I'll sue with like half the million people in the world or the country. I'll sue with everyone that's willing to come with me. I don't care if I make 12 cents. It's just the fact that they allowed this douchebag back into fucking the presidency after the first time, which was a disaster. But then he got his cronies into place. They had this little pamphlet book of how they're going to ruin the country,
Pretty
which is
much.
proof right there. That book for the Project 2025, you agree that that's a nice little manual of how we're going to screw the country.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically turn fascist
disagree,
overnight.
whatever. But I'm just saying I'm not going to actually do this. It's just and I understand that there's a certain level of degree of separation from the actual causality to the victim being harmed that at some point it's so diluted it can't be withheld as standing. That's kind of where you're going with that too. I understand.
well,
Yes.
there's both standing and causation. Your example has problems with both. It's way too attenuated to,
Well, it's like a
directly to be like
slow
a
burn.
direct cause. And, the standing issue is just like, you know, you're just pretty much like anyone else. You can't like say that you are injured in particular relative to, other people.
Anyone else, yeah, say.
Right.
Well, all right.
Because it'd be all of us then that could do this in a sense,
But
which I
that's what it
wish we
should be. It
could.
shouldn't just be me suing. It should be the entire country suing.
Yeah, that's what I
It should
mean. It
be
should
the
be all of
biggest
us.
class action lawsuit against, like, put it to this way. Based on what they've shown, based on how they're backing him and how they're protecting him and how they're holding the Epstein files under wraps, and you got Cash Patel telling people that, fuck you and I'm not giving you shit. You got Pam Bondi who sits on her thumb and rotates anytime Trump tells her to. And there should be a degree of separation between these bodies. It's supposed to be a balance. But yet he's got
Right. And
the
then and
Department
then
of
and
Defense
then
and
and
he's got the whole
then
judiciary system on his little pinky doing anything he
then
tells them to. And at that point, it comes from. I'm not talking about suing anymore. Screw that.
then
I'm
you
just
have
talking about
like qualified immunity and
Yeah,
that's like a
thank
whole
you.
nother
Whole
issue
other issue too. So it's
where,
just
you won't be able to, you'll basically be recovering tax money that's pretty much your own. So it's like,
but that's where like he how much money has he grifted from this country already?
God knows. Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
God knows at this point. He ain't done.
but to hold him personally liable, that's like another
he kind of
hurdle
is. Well,
because
not just
of
him and all
qualified
those
immunity.
cronies that he got involved, or the people even backing him, because there may be people backing him too that we don't know
Yep.
about.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's plenty of
So
donors and things.
No, like look who else was in the Epstein files. Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. I heard Clarence Thomas's name got
Like,
in there too.
no, like, all right, fuck Clarence Thomas. Mark Zuckerberg. Like, fuck that motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
Got
he
that right.
controls our social media. Like, so like if Mark Zuckerberg is in the Epstein files, fucking
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, like they control like
Yep.
most of social media.
yep.
Also TikTok is controlled by, a Trump ally
Yep.
because since, he basically stole the America section of TikTok and basically gave it to an American company run by one of his closest allies.
And
So it's
Instagram is
like,
and Instagram is also Zuckerberg too, ain't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's owned by
Yeah.
Meta. Yeah. So like, and they've been for months and years now pumping out, bullshit propaganda in favor of Trump.
Mhm.
They've been brainwashing people
Yeah.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. This has been
I'm,
building,
Um,
sadly.
it's definitely like there's all right. Is there a way out of this?
That's the best
I
question
mean,
right
this is
there.
pretty unprecedented in terms of the degree of propaganda and the mechanism of propaganda. Um, you know, Before you could, you had books and pamphlets and like, you know, it, the media now is like, every time you look at your phone, every time,
Instantaneous, yeah.
it's just like everywhere and all the time.
It's nonstop. Yeah.
And over time that erodes people's critical thinking skills. It erodes people's, willingness to, consider alternatives. If you hear something, over and over again, maybe you don't think it's true, but you come to accept it as a, rational alternative,
Or-
even though it may be irrational or not be, supported by evidence. And so, we're definitely in trouble now because I don't see a way out of it. Zuckerberg's going to continue to do what he does with Facebook, ignore, you know, bullshit information.
Yep.
Like,
Put it out like it's real.
you see like all these like fake, like the term fake news was co-opted by Trump, and he said basically, that he's going to take over this term fake news because originally it was, meant to refer to, fake news stories, like false news
Yeah.
that's not true, that was put out by Russian troll farms that basically just sat there all day and made up news stories to rile up Americans and to get them divided politically, in advance of the 2016 election. Now Trump took over that term and he uses that to refer to, what has traditionally been the news, reporting facts based on,
Science.
research
Evidence.
and yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, getting sources for stories and like, traditional news. Not to say that traditional news is, flawless, but it's certainly better than the trash that is actually fake news that Facebook puts out all the time.
Yeah.
The people just make shit up. There's quotes from people that they didn't
They
say,
didn't even say.
and
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
they just do it to get clicks and views and attention. And Facebook doesn't do anything about it.
They
They
just
they're not
allow it.
interested
Yeah.
in it. They're allowed it because it keeps people on their platform and it makes them money. And that
Exactly. That's
that
what it
is
comes down
going
to.
that is going to be the downfall of our country because it is eroding our politics. It's making it untenable because democracy thrives on, getting information. People are allowed to like make decisions but they can't make informed decisions if they don't have
The right
information.
Or
information.
That's
correct
correct.
information. Right. Yeah, that's big facts there. All right, everyone. That's all we got for this week on Strange Planet Podcast. New episodes will be every Friday on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Peace. May God help us all.